All right, folks, the latest report from the Home Builders Institute on the construction labor market is a big red flag, and this really is not exclusive to home building and carpentry as a trade. This is an issue that is prevalent and very concerning throughout all of the trades in the United States. But let's just take a quick snapshot, then we'll pull back and look at the trades across the board. The construction industry currently needs approximately 723,000 new construction workers each year to meet the demand. Now, this is in a season, by the way, where home building has slowed, given the dynamics of our economy. This is a pretty large number. The number of open construction sector jobs currently averages between 300,000 to 400,000 every month. That's startling. Open jobs right now. And we have millions of people who are unemployed. And people just don't want to do hard work. 90% of single-family builders responded to the Home Builders Institute survey and said they have reported a shortage of carpenters. 80 to 85% replied that they have seen a shortage of subcontractors in 6 other trades. So think anything home building, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, drywall. There's so many different contractors or subcontractors involved in building a home, as you understand. This is also in the remodeling world, which is a great little part of the economy that thrived, by the way, during the pandemic. 80% of remodelers reported a shortage of subcontractors in 11 of the 16 trades. So Ed Brady, who is the HBI president, put out a report along with the data that said there's 3 priorities. And this is on how do we solve this problem. Incidentally, I just had an interview conversation with the Honest Carpenter, who is got a great following on YouTube. That's coming soon, so stay tuned for that here on the Ken Coleman Show YouTube channel and podcast. Here's what Ed Brady says needs to happen. 3 priorities. Number 1, promote training and jobs in the trades to those people who've not yet considered a career in construction. Okay, so that's certainly high school kids. We are seeing that more and more states in our country are pushing the trades through the old school shop classes, if you will. It's now called something different, but we are seeing that beginning to trickle. Hopefully that will be a waterfall that, by the way, isn't just pushed in the American classroom, but it's pushed in the American home. Now, that's a bigger hill to climb, but I'm going to do my part to make sure that parents understand, look, some of you got kids that just don't want white-collar work. They've never enjoyed that kind of idea. That the idea of being cooped up in an office or a cube makes them want to scream, and they're very talented with object-type work. In other words, they use their head and their hands to fix things, build things. That's what we're talking about. So we've got to promote the trades as a very purposeful and profitable path. You can make really good money in the trades, and then eventually start your own business and become a multimillionaire. That's not talked about. So just a little side thing. It would be great if Hollywood jumped on board and began to do TV shows and documentaries and films that shed a positive light on trades. You don't see that. Second, they suggest support immigration reform designed to produce the next generation of Americans seeking new opportunity. And I agree with this. I am not going to get into a geopolitical and issue, which is immigration. I am not going to get into the political nature of this issue, but I would say this. If I could, I'd grab the leaders of both parties by the back of the collar and put them in a room with me and go, you're not leaving. You don't get lunch until we whiteboard a simple whiteboard strategy to be able to figure out this immigration issue. Because we do have good people that want to come to this country and work. And they're talented. And so we need to streamline that process. Yes, guard from the bad apples, but let the good apples in. Create a efficient way to citizenship so they can work. And by the way, be taxed. Now that's how you get politicians, Alex, on both sides to peak up. Hey, you boneheads, I can increase your tax base. Then they get excited. They love that. Third, advocate for housing affordability by demonstrating the direct link between the nation's housing shortage and its construction labor shortage. And I think, again, that's the case. We've got to create a business and government partnerships, local chamber of commerces. There's a lot of people at the party that need to show up here to sit down and go, okay, let's talk about housing affordability and how we can take on the housing affordability issue for younger Gen Z, millennials who can't afford to buy a house right now. And how do we create a path to affordability in home ownership that also helps us take on this issue of construction workers. Now, let's pull back because that's a very specific focus on housing. And the reason that I focus on this is that if you're not aware of this, folks, as housing goes, so goes the American economy. There's data upon data upon data that supports this. So when we see a downturn in housing, usually we see a downturn in the economy not far behind, sometimes right at the same time. A housing bubble or housing crisis makes it all flash faster. So that's why we're talking about this. But let's pull back. If you were to look at all of the trades, we're just talking about carpentry and home building alone. But again, electricians, plumbers, HVAC, drywall, brick masons. I mean, it goes on and on and on. You just think about everything going into building a home. There's two things going on here. Because of decades of making this issue negative for people, in other words, moving into the trades, decades and decades of looking down our nose at the trades, promoting college and white-collar work as a far better alternative. You got American kids that are going, I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to do this. And that could be further from the truth, but that's what they think. By the way, while I'm at it, decades of coddling kids where hard work with your hands and your body is also looked down on. I don't want to work hard. I want to quiet quit in a cube. Come on. You know, I'm telling you the truth here. And then the second major issue is, so we don't have new talent from our own population that want to go into these jobs. And then secondly, because the current population in the trades is aging out, we're talking about craftsmen here. And as they age out, their knowledge ages out with them. We could have a largely illiterate population as it comes to these trades. This is a real thing. Like, this isn't just about showing people another path. This is also about sustaining a healthy capitalistic economy. We got to wake up, folks. This is a storm that has been brewing and brewing and brewing, and it's about to hit us in a tremendous way. If we don't do something about it, what can you do about it? Number one, parents, start talking about the trades as a viable and optimistic and profitable path. Second, local political leaders, it's local first, state next, and then federal. We have got to make sure that our school systems, that we've got a campaign that is positive, just as the campaign has been negative for decades, to say, go get the degree or else you're not going to be happy. We need to flip the narrative. The narrative needs to change. And then we need some federal policies that fix our immigration issue and take the good apples and put them in a position to fill these gaps and watch our economy soar and our brothers and sisters from other countries taste and see and experience the American dream. We can solve it. I promise you. Let's get after it.